Is there a certain kind of client that you look for to coach?
My ideal client is the one that truly wants to see a transformation. They've got a proven track record. They're going along in their career. They may have just recently been promoted or been assigned a larger scope of responsibility, and they're realizing things about themselves. That's the ideal client because they are open to being vulnerable, they're open to having the hard conversations, and they're willing to stretch what they're currently thinking for something new and different.
Welcome to Women Awakening. I'm your host, Cynthia James, and I'm so honored. An announcement is coming out that we just crossed the benchmark of 250 episodes. And so I have interviewed all these women from all around the world. Every single one is a change maker. Every single one has said, I want to make a difference. And I don't want to just make a difference for me. I want to make a difference for others. I think it's the time for women emerging on this planet because I really feel like our energy and our nature is needed to create some balance. Our children need it, our planet needs it, our world needs it. And so I'm really grateful that you're here. We go up every Friday. We're on all of the platforms, Spotify, iTunes, iHeart, Spreaker, Amazon, YouTube video. Please check it out, subscribe, share the videos. Guarantee you, every woman will inspire you because their stories are amazing. So I have a new person to me today, and her name is Sheila Carmichael. She is an esteemed executive coach and leadership consultant with over 30 years of experience in the field. She's a master certified coach, MCC, and she specializes in empowering leaders and organizations to achieve their full potential through tailoring coaching solutions. Here's the thing. Her approach combines a deep understanding of individual and organizational dynamics with practical strategies, fostering transformational growth. Sheila has successfully partnered with corporate leaders and teams, equipping them with the skills, insights necessary to navigate complex challenges and drive sustainable results. Her extensive background includes coaching at senior levels, helping clients develop their leadership capacities, enhance team performance, and create a culture of accountability and innovation.
Mhm.
She has an holistic coaching philosophy that facilitates meaningful conversations and inspires change and promotes resilience. She's done a lot of things, but she's also served as an active member of the Forbes Coaches Council 2020 to 2022. Sheila, welcome for coming on the show.
Welcome. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so honored to be here.
Well, I want to start with how you grew up. There is a misconception that successful people just leap into it or they were born into it, and that's rarely the case. So, how did you grow up?
Wow. Well, the short of it is small town at the time. It was called the Village of Spring Valley in Rockland County, New York, and just hardworking parents. One worked on the assembly lines for Ford Motors as a line supplier, and the other one was a nurse's aide at a hospital where I was actually born. And just, just a tough couple. The Lucille and TJ, they we didn't have a lot. People thought we did, but we really didn't. They just worked their butts off. So and they just made sure they kept instilling in my brother and me just core values, work hard, keep your nose clean, follow God-given principles and things will just work as they're supposed to work. And so work hard, have fun, but make sure, you do the right thing for others and you pour back into the community as they poured into us. So nothing too extravagant one way or another, just, um, I guess they would have been classified as lower middle class, I don't know. I don't know what the numbers were. We didn't think we were rich, but people thought we were because my mother really instilled that it didn't matter how much money was coming in the house, you needed to show up as your best, you know?
Yes.
Yeah. That's
Yes.
how I grew up, just whatever you do your best, hold your values and principles strong to your heart, and just give it your all and give it to people. So,
I love that. And so, what did you go to school for?
oh, I did not have, Cynthia, the traditional school track.
Well, welcome to the club.
Yeah, I did not have the traditional school track, but I went to school at the time, it was called Human Resources, and it was an add-on to the business program. It wasn't a full discipline, curriculum, and then later my master's became in, adult education, so master's in adult education, and as I continue to work within corporate, training and development, organizational development. I did start my doctoral program in organizational leadership. It was put on pause, but I'm actually rethinking that and how do I resurface that back up and continue to pursue it. So let's just, keep some prayers up for that because I really do want to add that to the portfolio. So the focus has really been around organizational dynamics and leadership. That's because that's where my career grew up in corporate. So something about human resources, which is now I hear it's called talent, and all these different names, for it, right? It's like it's still human resources. I think we're the consciousness of the organization
Mhm.
because we're working across so many different functions to help with alignment of not just identifying the right people as they're coming in, the right programs to help them to develop and soar, and even as they exit, what are the best practices to keep people whole and integrity, whether it's something sooner than later? How do you just ensure that the talent you have is really aligned with where your vision of that corporation is going?
Well, that's beautiful. Okay, so I wanna know then, how did coaching come out of that?
I know, right? Like, where'd that go from, Sheila? It's so interesting. During one of my corporate gigs, coaching was still coming up new. And I said, let me find out what this thing is really about because I think I'm coaching, but I'm not sure. And I realized I wasn't coaching it according to what ICF, the International Coaching Federation, had said, right? So once I got more understanding of that, I was like, oh, this is a game changer because I was already asking these really powerful questions. But now, from the coaching lens, I'm bringing a higher awareness into working with leaders as they're looking at their talent in succession planning, their organizational design, all these different things. So that's how it came into play, just in my existing role, trying to increase my own, capabilities. How do I add another skill set to be more efficient at what I'm doing so that others can actually be efficient? And here's the funny thing, Cynthia. You have these year-end reviews with your leader, right? And I had said to my leader at the time when she asked, "So, what do you want to do next? Like, what's your next career move?" Right? And I said, "I want to be a coach." And she told me, "Nobody's going to pay you to put your sign on the door to be a coach." Well, hello.
Well, hello.
Here we are.
Oh, people, people, people.
I
Okay.
know.
I mean, it's so interesting because why would anybody wanna put a limitation on anyone?
Exactly, exactly, and I get it, because at the time, it was not very, positively thought of. Coaching was seemed as if this was the solution to fix somebody if they're having some performance issues or we're getting ready to exit them out, and that's not what coaching is. It really
Not
is not. And so if that's what you're operating from that mindset, then yeah, that would make sense. You would say, well, no, Sheila, we're not going to let you put a sign in your door that says coaching. That's not what we want to promote. And I didn't take it to heart. I just used it as some fuel boosters for me to go, okay, let me show you what it really is.
Well, I love that you're a lifelong learner because in your bio that I didn't read, it talked about you're certified in all these assessment tools and everything. I want to talk about there is I'm gonna say it's a belief that
Mhm.
corporations don't have heart.
Hmm.
That it's not about the people, but true coaches are coaching about how do you empower the people, the leaders, the teams, so for you,
Mhm.
is there a certain kind of client that you look for to coach?
Yeah. No, it's a great question, Cynthia. For me, I mean, I can coach anybody. I really can. But my ideal client is the one that truly wants to see a transformation. They've got a proven track record. They're going along in their career. They may have just recently been promoted or been assigned a larger scope of responsibility, and they're realizing things about themselves. And they're also self-aware enough to know something's not quite fitting the way my previous success playbook in this new role or this new responsibility. That's the ideal client because they are open to being vulnerable, they're open to having the hard conversations, and they're willing to stretch what they're currently thinking for something new and different. And it may be pulling pieces of the existing playbook and re engineering that. That's why I like to call myself the leadership architect because I'm just re engineering what's already in there, right? We're just setting up this house a little differently. But if they're willing to do that, if they truly have in their heart and their mind, I need to do something different because if not, I'm gonna keep working in this insanity world, then that's the ideal client. That's the
Well, what I love about that is that then what that says to the people that report to them, oh, I've got the possibility to do the same thing.
Mhm. Exactly. Exactly. There's something special about I mean, just think about it, Cynthia, when you see someone realize something about themselves and they make the adjustments and do the work to say, "I need to flip this internal script differently so that I can perform higher, better, stronger." Absolutely, people see that and they wanna go, "How'd you do that?" Right? They get excited over it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, you got a book.
Yeah.
Can you hold it up? For those of you who are on video, if you can't, it's called Present, right?
It
Self-coaching strategies to ignite your authentic leadership. Okay, talk to me about this book.
Oh, Cynthia, this is, it started out with just to be like a 8, 10-page workbook about 15 years ago, and when something's not ready, you just don't move with it. I think that's just human nature. You go, "It's not ready." A couple years ago, last year actually, I said, "It's ready. It's ready." And something pressed down on me literally spiritually that said, "It's time." So think
Mhm.
about the stories I had 15 years ago were nowhere near the stories I have today. And it really I wanted this book to be designed not a traditional self-help book. So this is not like, "Follow these 4 steps," not what this is. No. I want this to be the guide that I didn't have to help me deal with all the uncertainty and chaos and things that you deal with not only in leadership at work, but also your leadership presence at home and in your communities. And what's something that you can go to easily to help you do your own reset to get you back to you. So that's why I call it self coaching strategies. Each person's going to be something different. So I've put in there really powerful self coaching questions to help you pause in that moment and go, "Okay, how do I reset this and think differently to do what I need to do?" Because each situation is gonna ask for something different, and I share stories, not only myself, but other executives. I don't disclose their names, of course, but I share examples of real events that helps you to understand how my formula, which is the 3D authentic presence, helps you in that moment, literally 90 seconds to reset and get back into your groove.
So why I love this is that I think a coach's job is to have the client no longer need them, but
Exactly.
to have the tools to be able to direct and stay in their center. So I love that this book is this, because people need tools that they can rely on to help them center, especially, I mean, we're living in a very interesting world right now.
Ooh, we're not gonna go there.
No, we're not gonna go there. But you know what I mean? It's like, how do my clients are like, okay, I don't know how to navigate all this because it's coming at me from every direction every day. How do I stay in who the truth of who I am in the center of who I am? So those tools are important. I think it's extraordinary. So for you, and want this for the ladies to understand. So you got this job, and so now you have a company, correct?
Mhm.
And did you know how to start a company?
No. I don't censor that, but no, no. You know, when you've worked in corporate for so long, you've got all these resources. I had my marketing VP who was like a mentor to me. I could tap into her for creativity. The finance chief financial officer, I could say, hey, help me understand how we need to, jive these numbers together. Whoever it was, you had those resources. When you go to open up your own business, all that goes away. There's no common vision like in a corporation where we're all doing this for our stakeholders and our stocks and and our employees. We're all in it as one. When you run your own independent company, that's a whole different ball game. You're by yourself on that island and everybody wants to help you, but they may not be aligned to the same all in like you were in a company, right?
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, it requires a whole different thing. Yeah,
Well, I love that you're saying that because when you start a company, you don't know what you don't know.
yeah.
So then you gotta getting clear about your values and what's important to you. Then you go, well, then who do I need to call in to help me do that? Which helps you then do that for other people.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah, exactly. That couldn't have said it better.
So what brings you joy?
What a good question. It's a good question because I've been thinking about that a lot lately, and I think it's because of the season I'm at in life, and you just want to make sure that whatever you're doing I literally had a client today, and she said, I wanna stop hitting the snooze button." Yeah. And I remember when I was a trainer, like a road warrior trainer in professional development for career development, that was the number one sign when you're hitting the snooze button. So it doesn't matter if you're running your own company or working in a company, if you're hitting the snooze button. And she said her mentor had told her that, and it just reminded me of all of that. You're absolutely right. What gives me joy is to help people not even think about the snooze button.
Yeah.
To get back to their, some people call it their mojo, right? Their flow, just to get back to you. At one time, I was gonna call the company Level Up to You, but that it's really just to get back to your flow, your rhythm, and your when I see that happening, Cynthia, with the client conversation, it doesn't matter what I'm dealing with, that I'm just so focused on what they're saying and trying to connect their thinking dots to help them get back to the true essence of what they need for themselves.
So beautiful.
Right.
It's really beautiful, Sheila. How do people find you?
Well, you can find me in 2 areas. Of course, I'm a LinkedIn guru. I've been doing that for years, so that's the number 1 spot. You can also go to my website, which is sheilacarmichael.com.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, people, I hope that you will go check out her site and check out her book presence. Because here's the thing, the more tools and the more you understand that there are many ways for you to get your gifts, and then you go there, then there's no time to snooze. Right. So I, I I asked the same last question of every guest on this show. The show is called Women Awakening. What do you think is the most important thing about women awakening on the planet in this moment?
It's a great question. I think that I want women to know as they're listening, um, that their awakening is really their willingness to see themselves in much more clarity, not from a selfish perspective. Sometimes that hinders us, but more that use this awakening as a signal, like on a dashboard of a car, it's telling you something. And that every time you choose growth over comfort,
Mm,
authenticity over approval, you're creating a passion and that contagiousness for others. We've got a superpower for that. And so when you feel like, oh, I got this blind spot and I don't know what to do, or I'm using it as self doubt, it's not where we need to be ashamed. It's really a signal calling you to step harder into it and to see it as a possibility that there's a unique way to re engineer that into a strength or a superpower.
mm,
So that awakening is actually your inner beacon, your inner dashboard telling you, "Hey, I'm trying to tell you about something that you can step into, and don't be afraid to do that." It's your unique, distinctive leadership style, and when you trust that inner awakening voice, that signal, oh my god, Cynthia, I've got chills thinking about it. It just gets you to the next step even bigger and better than what you could have ever imagined.
wow, I could not have said it better. And ladies, if you didn't get it all, rewind and, and write this down. Well, I am so grateful that you came and said yes to coming on the show. Your your soft, loving nature is a beautiful thing to behold.
Thank you. Oh my goodness. Well, I would say it takes one to know one. So thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, ladies. I close this show the same way every time with different words. Listen, I love it when she said authenticity over approval. You got nothing to prove. You get to come and bring your gifts. You get to bring your joy. You get to bring the thing that lights you up because the moment you tap into that space and listen to that inner knowing that's guiding you, all the bets are off. You get to soar and then you get to take people with you. So thank you for being here. I'm so honored to do this show and have you come. And I look forward to seeing you again. And I'm sending so much love.